I want to talk about black people, white people, Asian people, Mexican people. There's all kinds of people. So many ethnicities, races I just left out, but those are the quick ones. And we're all human beings. We all know that. We all bleed the same, all the cliches. But the fact of the matter is, black people in our country have had a huge disadvantage in a lot of ways. Um, I have a I have an obligation on one level spiritually, but also in my heart, I feel this is that, see, everybody talks about slavery and, um, I'm many generations removed and get a job and work hard and work your way out of the inner city. That's what the vast majority of stuck up, middle, upper class, and, even poor people, right? There's so much racism in our country. Racism, right? There's that word again. But it's really meaningless because if everybody's honest, they would recognize the state of things. Words don't mean much when they're not backed up by action that matches the words. So while everybody fights about what words are being said to describe a culture or characteristics of a culture, and it happens on all sides, let's talk about the state of things. Not from slavery hundreds of years ago, but right now, and every generation in between. So as a culture, black people, if you go to any inner city around the country, black people are concentrated in poor areas, rundown areas. Now, Republicans will say, well, it's because they're criminals. And you can see all the things online, people say and what they think. But that's not the state of things. The state of things is if we're being honest, regardless of your political affiliations, Republican or Democrat or independent, you have to recognize that the United States government has attacked the black population time and time again. You can look at how they gave them diseases on purpose to test them, see what the reactions would be. It later came out. There's so many instances, but even take nowadays in the inner cities, how do you think the last 2 to 3 generations of gang culture developed? That was seeded and taken over by the CIA running drugs into the communities. This is very well documented. There's been other events too that support that. So that's the United States government. That is the extension of we the people. So do I believe that the black communities deserve reparations? I do. I don't believe that we should just write a blank check. We should leverage those resources into success stories. There's ways to do that. Because at the end of the day, what are we going to wait another 10, 20, 30 years and just have generation after generation of black children being born into these inner cities? They have no choice but to adapt to the environment. What would you do if you were 6 or 7 years old and you needed to eat, or you had the peer pressure around you to gang up, right? We have to unpack all that stuff. We can't keep blaming people, human beings, that are adapting to their environment that was created by our government. Can't keep blaming those people. They're human beings and they're doing the best they can. That being said, the black culture is a beautiful culture. There's so many awesome things about their music and their food and their way of life. Who is it to, if people like chilling out and relaxing and that's their lifestyle, so what? That's what they choose to do with their time. Doesn't mean you're supporting them sponging off the system if they have benefits that come in for food. That's not what that means. That means they're eating. I mean, I can unpack corporate welfare on Republican side that is way stacks higher. So let's just again talk about the state of things. Doesn't everybody deserve parity and equal justice in our country, regardless of their class, regardless of their ethnicity? But let's talk about ethnicity. Okay, so we are all different. We are all different. Every culture in our country has their own characteristics that are beautiful. But there's also things about, like my culture, for example, my Jewish culture, right? What's our characteristics? We're usually pretty good at making money. We get things done. We're usually pretty smart. A lot of musicians, right? We have big noses, right? These are characteristics. I'll agree that there's a lot of annoying Jews. Does that mean I hate Jews or I'm anti-Semitic or no? It just means I recognize that the characteristics of my people, when amplified, can sometimes be annoying. Jews that are really like Jewy are annoying. I find them annoying, and I'm a Jew, right? So, case in point, it's just being honest about describing and stereotypes. This happens in the comedy universe all the time. Why can't we just be that matter of fact in our public discourse in general? Because that's it. There's nothing to it if you really think about it. Racism, the words, and all the things that go with it is just a control mechanism to keep everybody fighting.
Caught in a way.